Hello, guys. Welcome back to Sports Kabri. I'm Rishi, and today we have with us Adi. And the second test is just around the corner, and we have some big news coming from both the camps. And it is all but confirmed for us that Jasprit Bumrah is set to miss the second test. Big news for us, like potentially game, like result changing news for us because he is our biggest X factor. I mean, he is our X factor, he is our game changer, and ultimately, it hasn't been confirmed by the BCCI or the Indian cricket team, but reports are saying that it is all but confirmed by them that Jasprit Bumrah is set to miss the second test. And even as late as today's practice, he bowled only towards the latter stages of the practice session. It was Prasidh Krishna, Akashdeep, um, Arshdeep Singh, and Mohammad Siraj who took participated in the practice session. That is for us, and for England, they are going ahead with the same 11. Although Jofra Archer was added to the squad, maybe they thought maybe they thought let's not risk him too soon. And anyway, Jasprit Bumrah maybe is not playing, so we don't have to go full throttle and things like that. So that means England are going ahead with the same 11. So a lot of discussions to be had, a lot of debates to be had. We still have to, I mean, we don't know what our 11 is going to look like. Should we have any changes? Should we go ahead with the same, I mean, pretty much the same 11 without Bumrah? So, yeah, a lot of topics. And how do we approach this game? So, Adi, straight ahead, I'm going to ask you, if Jasprit Bumrah is indeed set to miss out on the game, how big of a difference is it? How big of a setback is it for us going into the second test after the kind of loss that we had with him in our 11 in the first test? So how much of a difference do you think this is going to make?
Yeah, bro, I think it's always going to be difficult when you lose your best players. I think we saw that even with batting. Like, even though, they scored a lot of runs with India, they still didn't have that perfect order of batters where they did still crumble down and, you still have weak points. And the same way you do find it in the bowling also. Like, you lost Shami, you can see there's a big hole in your third pacer. Now you lose your best bowler, you're going to have a double blow in terms of your bowling lineup. So it's always going to be a big loss. And the way these England pitches are, the way they've been playing over the past, not only this summer, even last summer, I remember it was pretty easy to bat on. And if that is how it is, especially in the past two Test matches, what I've seen in England, it's looked very easy to bat on. There is a lot of there is nothing for the bowlers. There is more for the batters to play on. And then if you're on top of that, if you're losing Bumrah, if you're losing that ability to get those wickets when there's nothing happening, or if when you have a bowler who can put the pressure on England batsmen, especially the openers. Like, the point is Bumrah coming, opening your bowling, putting pressure on their openers is very key. Now you lose him, who is going to come replace him? Is there any likely replacement who can do the same thing? Will Siraj be now? Technically, Siraj is going to become a main bowler, your prime option for bowling, especially opening. I think he'll have to start opening. Me personally, I think it is a. I still don't know if it is Akashdeep or Ashdeep Singh. I don't know, because Akashdeep did play a lot of Test matches for India. He played against New Zealand. He played against Australia when they went away. So it will be interesting who will come in. I don't think there is a surety that it will be Ashdeep Singh. I think it's still a bit unclear. But whoever comes in, you're not getting the same thing as you will get from Bumrah. So more than missing Bumrah, it's more of who is going to take his position, which is more important. Because, okay, bro, at the end of the day, okay, it's fine to miss your key players in certain games. It's okay. The point is who comes to replace them. Like, if I have to give you an example with England, I mean, someone like Australia, when they did lose Hazelwood, in the India versus Australia Test series, it was not like they lost. I mean, they did lose a huge player in it, but they were able to get a decent enough replacement who could do the job, who could use the conditions well, and who could get the results. I think that's the important part. Like, we know in sports, it is impossible to have your best players play every game, and that's the situation right now. So the point is, who's going to come for India, where they can come and sit and get those wickets, where they can come. sit and ball those, maybe those, those tricky yorkers for the batsman to play, maybe consistent line and length, same test match length. Is someone there who can do that? I think that's the real question, because if you have someone like that, then you can say, okay, Bumrah's a big miss, but we have someone who can come and do a decent enough job. Like, that's the thing. Like, for example, let's say in an ideal world, we had someone like Shami, someone like Ishant Sharma, Umesh Yadav still playing, and like Bhuvi or someone still playing. Then if we said, okay, you're missing Bumrah, you have a certain replacement who can do the job, and you know what you're getting out of them. The problem right now with India is we don't know who's going to replace them, and we don't know what you can get out of them. Like, even with Shami's replacement, when Prasid Krishna came in, we know how he played in the IPL, but we really didn't know what he's going to give us out of this test match, the first test match. And the same thing with who is going to come in. Akashdeep, you have a bit of an idea, but I don't think he can be a prime bowler. Then you have Ashdeep Singh. Do you think he can come in and play a crucial role? He has to play a crucial role, but I don't know what he's going to give. And then the third option is again Harshit Rana. Do you think he's going to come in? I don't know, bro. Like, you never know. Like, with Gambhir and his favoritism, you never know who can come in. I think that it's just the matter of can they come in and do the job. I think that's the most important thing. And I mean, it's going to be very tricky. It's going to be very tough for India to go in, because even the last game against Australia, when Bumrah missed the, the second innings, India did struggle that, and eventually just couldn't cope up with that game, and they lost. So, similar boat. I really am clueless in the way they're going to approach it. Like, that's the thing with this coaching staff. You'd never know what they will do. Like, I don't know. Like, for me.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, I'm fairly sure it's going to be one of Akashdeep and Arshdeep Singh. Although considering this coaching staff who have favored Harshit Rana in the past, I do not think he will be coming in, because I don't know how much of a difference, like, what different is, like, what is he going to offer that is anything different from what Prasid Krishna offers. On the other hand, you have Arshdeep Singh, who's going to bring a little bit of freshness when it comes to left arm pace bowling, which we have missed for a long time now. And but when it comes to uh, Akashdeep, we have somebody who I feel, at least in this squad, you take out Bumrah, somebody who can hit the same line and length and be disciplined consistently. Although he might not have that excessive bounce or that that buzzing pace that Bumrah has. Like, I feel at least amongst the remaining bowlers in the squad, I feel Akashdeep is somebody who can hit that line and length consistently, and he kept doing that in Australia as well. And it was so unfortunate because the Australian batters kept trying to hit, and they just kept missing. He just kept missing the edge by, like, very short margins. So I like it's going to be interesting who's going to get the nod ahead of Bumrah in these two. And of course, it doesn't help with the fact that India are winless against England when it comes to Edgbaston. Like, the last time we played there, I think England knocked up their highest ever run chase in tests against. I mean, highest ever run chase in tests. Period. Not even against us. So we have a lot to put past us, and we have a lot of demons to shake off. And that brings us to another interesting segment where a lot of questions are being asked about the management, about our captain who is searching for his first win. I felt some of the criticism were fair, but some of them were being quite harsh, because there was a lot of, like, rightfully, like, pointed out by DK that he was, like, following the ball wherever the ball went. He was just placing a fielder there. It looked like, and for the players like Bryden Cast, the field that was being set was very defensive. They were not trying to go at him. They were just
Bro,
trying to
yeah.
stop
Bro,
the
I feel
boundary.
like the second innings full test match was very like defensive field set from ball
Mm.
one. I think in the beginning he had like four slips, if I'm not wrong, and they realized quickly there was no swing in the pitch, and they suddenly didn't have a real plan. Like, I think the entire game it was very very in his captaincy. I don't think he had a plan in terms of where to keep what. And in test match you have to continue with that same plan for a while. You have to be patient enough for it to work it out. But Bro, that's a problem. I think he's wired more to T20 where you're trying to change every ball because that's the nature of that game. You can't wait for two, three balls to make a change of field. You have to be, ready every single ball. But that's a problem. I think it's a bit of that. And I think it's also a bit of your coaching stuff because, again, I think we have to stress. I can't stress enough to say, like, with Gambhir, I think you can say Gill's first test match, you can take it out and say, okay, he has time to improve. But when India's lost, when India's won one game in 9 test matches in the past 9 matches, I don't think it's just a captain issue. Like, see, you had Kohli as a captain, if you have to look at it. You had Bumrah as a captain, if you have to look at it. Now you have Gill as a captain. Now you had Rohit Sharma as a captain. You have four different captains in the past 9 test matches. I don't think any other big team does it. So I think we have to discuss more about, like, what is this Indian team doing in terms of the coaching stuff? Like, what are they doing? What inputs are they adding towards each tour? How are they preparing? Like, I don't think their prep has been great in the past two tours. Like Australia tour, I don't think it was good enough. Coming here, I don't think it's been great. Like, to be fair, you have to put it straight. Like, they're not able to read the game. They're not able to play based on the game. Like, what did we get out of the middle order last game? I think it was the same problem we had against New Zealand, where we were talking about how the middle order collapsed. Same thing even in Australia. Like, I remember it was Nitish Kumar Reddy who only held that middle order. Pant was giving up his wickets. A lot of players just gave up the wickets, and I think same thing. The first Test match in England, it's a matter of will the middle order hold up, and they didn't do it. Like, your lower middle order, they didn't do it. Like, they didn't do a good enough job to be like, yeah, they're a stable batting unit and they can score runs if it's needed. I think we have to talk more about the coaching stuff. I think with Gill, it's just too early, but yeah, I think more for me personally, more with the coaching stuff. I think that's where the pressure is on because India's technically the only team who's won one game in the past 9 test matches that they've been played till now.
And like I was trying to find similar stats of other test playing nations, and we are sharing this number only with Zimbabwe. Like everybody else has better numbers than us. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, like if you consider the relatively smaller nations, they might be playing tests less frequently than us. But we had a 5 game BGT and the 3 game series at home against New Zealand, which I felt was like a big blow to us. That the 3-0 whitewash that. So I feel questions rightfully being asked about Gautam Gambhir because going into games, and I'm sure you as well, and a lot of us cricket fans, we are not able to A, find an identity of this team, and B, find a game plan as to what are we going after, like what is it that we are trying to do, and that is our biggest concern because like it doesn't it really doesn't take much for us to like put games past us. If we can see a blueprint and then we are losing games, we can tell, okay, maybe if we change XYZ, a couple of changes in the team, and we are pulling this result from us. But these last 9 games, the way we've lost, like we've systematically lost games where the issues have been glaring at us, and we have done, I feel, very little to address. And the fact that we've lost two big players going into this test, we're losing our best, all format player, or in this team our best player as well. I don't have much confidence as to how we're going to turn the ship around. And we can to an extent say that our top order is doing a decent job. Our openers are one down, two down, to an extent is doing a good job. But after that, again, like you rightfully mentioned, where are the runs coming from, and what is our game plan in terms of who's going to play? Because reports are coming that maybe it's going to be one of the spinners who's going to play, like either Washington Sundar or Kuldeep Yadav might play. If yes, instead of who? Instead of Shardul Thakur? Then does Nitish Kumar Reddy get a game? Like, does Dhruv Jurel get a game? Maybe not. I wouldn't. I'd be very surprised if somebody like Dhruv Jurel got a game. But if we are to get an extra spinner, who is it coming? Like, who's he? Who's that player coming in place of? So a lot of questions are there, and it's just so concerning that not so long ago we were stamping our authority on tests, like the test format. Although we never got our hands on the mace, like we could say that, okay, this team had an identity. We were going out with the intent to win games regardless of where we play. And that looks like a complete shadow. Like we right now are a complete shadow of that team. Like we have lost our way. Although I can say some, or like some of the players are same, but it looks completely different, and it looks completely bleak as to where we're gonna go. And it's so concerning for me right now, because how is it that we're discussing, like we've come to a stage where we have, like, we're discussing that we have a fighting chance only if one player plays. I don't think any of the other top test playing nations, like you look at Australia, I don't think they're going to say, oh, if Mitch Stark or if Josh Hazelwood or if Pat Cummins, one player is going to miss out, then suddenly the winning chance, like our winning chances have gone from 80 to 20. I don't think if England say that, okay, if Ben Stokes is going to miss out or if Ben Duckett is going to miss out, our winning chances have gone from 70 to 20. Or if South Africa say that, like, if Aiden Markram misses out, or if somebody like that misses out, their winning chances are going to drop so drastically. While I get that Bumrah is a top player, like the best bowler in the world right now, I don't think we, like, the place where we were before, like, I don't think we should be so far off behind that, like, like we're depending our victories depending on just one player, and that is very very concerning for me. Anyway, like, moving ahead. So yeah, there are multiple reports coming on who might play, who might get a chance. So Adi, if it were up to you, who, like, would you have any changes in the lineups? If yes, who do you think comes in? Who do you think misses out?
See, bro, I told before, at least, see, there's a difference between us fans uh, having a want of, okay, it's easy for us fans to be like, okay, let's take out a player, get in someone else when it's not working out. I mean, that's the problem. I think when you have a coaching staff, when they've prepared so much, chosen a 18-man squad, 19-man squad, whatever it is, come to England, I think it's a matter of you have to, if you're getting a certain 11, I think you have to back them for at least 2 3 test matches. But that's the problem. I think for us fans, it's easy to say, it's easy to be very picky. It's easy to be very erratic and say, take this guy out, get someone else in. Like we can sit here and say, take Thakur out, get in someone like Nitish Kumar. Like as a fan, you can also say, okay, is it very smart to play Sai Sudarshan at number 3, even though it's been only a match? Is it very smart to play Karun Nair when you have guys like Dhruv Jurel who's performed better? You have to also question why Prasidh Krishna came in over Akashdeep when he's also played well for India over the past 2 test series. I think he's been very consistent as a test bowler. And it's very unfortunate he didn't play the first test if we actually be very critical about it. And that's my issue. I think with fans it's okay if you're very erratic or if you're very picky with our players. We need these players, we want these players for one test match, another player for another test match. But as the coaching staff, as the coaching unit, you can't be changing every test match, bro. Like that's the problem. And I think that's been the biggest issue. Okay, fair enough. When you're playing India, there are different conditions. You might have to play an extra 2 spinners. That's okay. Let's take that out. Look at the test series in Australia. From game one, where we knew Rohit Sharma wouldn't play, the way they chopped and changed with the batting order. You had guys like Devdutt Padikkal playing a test match in Australia. I don't know where it came out from. Like, respectfully, like, I'm not telling it's a matter of talent, but it was very very random to get Dave that in, and he struggled that one test match. And even the same test match, I think Dhruv Jurel also played. And the next match, both of them didn't play that test match. I think that game even Gill was injured, if I'm not wrong. Both of them didn't play the next match when Rohit Sharma and Gill came back. And then I remember Gill also got dropped during that series. So it is very, very weird in terms of every player gets picked, they get dropped. Even Harshit Rana was picked in the series, he got dropped in the same test series. Like they had Akashdeep playing the New Zealand test match. Come to Australia, they didn't pick Akashdeep for the first game. I think they played Harshit Rana and they got him in they played the first 2 tests and then they dropped Harshit Rana. The point is, why are you not keeping the same players for a certain number of games? And that's the biggest reason why India's lost. I mean, India's only been able to win one of 9 games. But changing every game, if you chop and changing every game in terms of batting order, in terms of bowling order, even in the batting order, if you remember, Rohit Sharma suddenly played number 5 out of nowhere. Like I've never seen him play number 6 in ages. He's been playing number 2, number 1 since the past 3-4 years since he became the Test captain. But he played number 6 during the Test match in Australia, and then again he came back opening the next Test match, which actually was worse because now what is the point? One game you're playing him number 6, next game you're playing him as an opener. You're making Rahul play number 3. Sometimes you're making Rahul play number 6. Sometimes, like, bro, the coaching staff and the way they choose their 11 is the biggest problem. And that's the problem we've come to this Test match. Even coming to this Test match, we don't know who's going to be at a batting order. I seriously don't know if Shardul Thakur will play or if they'll get another spinner. Because if I'm honest, from the way it played out the first game, I think they need to solidify their batting than get an extra spinner. Like, I think it doesn't make sense to play someone like Kuldeep if you're taking out Jadeja because it weakens your batting and your bowling is already weakened up because you have lost Bumrah. So no matter who comes in, it's a bit more weaker than what it's supposed to be. Now, if you're adding Kuldeep or if you're adding Sundar, that is the rumors. That is what a bit confusing based on the press conference. So because of that, I don't really know who will come in. Me personally, I think with the batting order, you should go with the same batting order. But I would say bring in someone like Nitish Kumar Reddy for someone like you know even Nitish Kumar Reddy, or if you're ready to get Dhruv Jurel, I think one of them should play instead of Shardul Thakur because I think they need an extra man in batting. Like you can't go with such a weak batting order. You have like if you add Jadeja and Shardul Thakur, in my opinion, you have only 6 batters there. Like that is just too less compared to how like England can play deep till 9, and that's what helped them score those extra 40, 50, 60 runs, which helped them a lot in this Test match. I think that's the problem. I think you have to get another batter whatever it is, Dhruv Jurel, Nitish Kumar Reddy, and I think you have to give Akash Deep a fair chance, bro. I think he got. There's a problem, and I think the favorite will be Ashdeep Singh, and that's my issue with this Indian team because see, you gave Akash Deep a good run of chance. He played well, like even in the last Test match against Australia, he was bowling beautifully. Like I'm telling you, he was so unlucky with the drop catches in the Australia Test series. He was so unlucky with the edges. He could have easily gotten 4-5 extra wickets that entire Test series, which he really couldn't get. And that was just pure to bad luck and nothing else because he was bowling the right line and length and he was continuously bowling the line and length. And coming to England, I think him being dropped is very. There's no justification to that. And I think he should come back into the team. That's my opinion. Play him the rest of the Test series with whenever Bumrah is not injured. When Bumrah is playing, still play him. I think he should be in the Indian Test team for the next 4-5 games. You have to give him a fair chance. I think with Prasidh Krishna also it was a bit premature because I don't think it's fair like dropping Akashdeep. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think you can make any other change apart from Shardul Thakur. Like, I don't know who will make, but that's a problem. For me, I don't see anything else. But, bro, with Gautam Gambhir, I don't know. Like, I'm sure you'll find some random change coming into this Test match. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, that's very true. And I like it is unfair that Shardul Thakur ultimately got to bowl like what I don't know if it was a decision by the captain or the management or was it just purely situational that he got to bowl less than 20 overs in both the innings. Like what I think 16, 17 overs he's bowled. And if that's what you really wanted from your fourth pacer, your part-time pacer, you might as well have given it to Nitish Kumar Reddy. That is my only concern. But if you do plan on utilizing somebody like Shardul Thakur more, like that fourth pacer, basically that fourth pacer more, I like if you feel that you have lateral movement going into the second test, I wouldn't really have a problem because now that we have lost somebody like Bumrah, we'll need all the more help we can get with the ball. Like so that's the thing. If you really plan on underusing that fourth pacer as just a part-time pacer, you might as well give it to Nitish Kumar Reddy because you're getting, I can say with some level of assurance, maybe if not a big bulk of runs, we're going to get certainly more runs with Nitish Kumar Reddy with some more stability. Like that we saw that was critically lacking for us. And that's the thing. And I don't think we really need another spinner because Jadeja is somebody like I felt Jadeja bowled really bad. because those footmarks in the first test were very evident, and Pant kept asking Jadeja to bowl into the rough, into the footmarks. He just wasn't able to land it in the right place, and it was one of those days where, maybe for him things were not going his way, but he is somebody I personally would really back him to come back and, like, have landed. Like, all he needs to do is land it in the right places, and the kind of talent that Jadeja has. So that and when it comes to the third bowling pick, like the replacement for Bumrah, I kind of agree with you that we really, like, ought to give Ashdeep, I mean, not Ashdeep, sorry, Akashdeep, the chance that he deserves, because we know for a fact third test is, like, most likely Bumrah is going to come. So no matter what, who plays in the second test, third test, Bumrah is going to come back. And although he didn't get wickets, that's what I kept re-emphasizing, like, during the BGT as well, that it was really unfortunate that Akashdeep didn't pick up the wickets, because he was hitting those golden areas, and it just missed the mark by not a lot. And I don't really know what Arshdeep is going to look like bowling in this setup. What is he going to do? Is he going to be the second change bowler? Is he going to be the first change bowler? Is he going to open the bowling? Because, like, we can make a
I
safe
think he
bet
will
that.
open, bro. Like he has to open. You haven't.
Sorry, Adi.
So he will open because we're getting him for Bumrah. There's no one else who can open the bowling with Siraj, right?
Mhm.
So it has to be him because Siraj, who is going to come next? It's going to be Ashdeep. Like, no matter what, I don't think Prashad can open the bowling with, let's say, Siraj. And I think Ashdeep generally does that also in white ball. I think it just has to naturally translate if he's going to come in and ball, if he's going to be playing in the 11. But yeah, I think that's my question. Do you think losing Bumrah, India will take an extra bowler instead of a batsman? I feel like that can happen because, see, you can't. The risk with getting Nitish Kumar Reddy is, okay, you have an extra batsman, but then you look at this bowling. I mean, this pitches with losing Bumrah, where are the wickets you're going to get? Like, it will become a matter of, can India score runs? I mean, even if India score runs, can they get the wickets on the other end? That's more important here. Getting a wicket here is like gold dust because it's so tough to get wickets. And if you let the openers play the way they played, you can see like the rest has no pressure to play on. So I think the question is, do you think they'll play a fourth bowler? Like, I that's the thing for me. If Nitish Kumar Reddy comes, even though personally I don't mind either Nitish Kumar Reddy or Dhruv Jurel playing, you're losing Bumrah, so you have to have a proper fourth seamer because you need at least two players to fill in his role at the moment, especially the way India's bowling. So will it be an extra spinner? Like, let's say Washi comes in, he can bat, Washi can bat. So is it like Washi comes in and then you get like someone like Ashdeep or Akashdeep, or you just straight away get Akashdeep and Ashdeep for Shardul Thakur and let's say who Bumrah, but then you lose a batter. So well, that's the problem.
Then that middle order is looking all the more bleak. Like, would you be
Exactly,
any
but
confident going into that? Yeah.
but the problem is you have look at the last game. If you have Siraj, Prashad, then let's say Ashdeep, who's making his debut, your bowling of those are looking equally weak. It's not like it's suddenly stronger than it was last game. And England with Bumrah, they were easily able to score the runs they scored. So imagine without Bumrah, like that's the problem. Like, what risk is India going to take? I think, bro, that's why ideally, looking at the way last time it pitched, and Edgbaston can also turn. Like you can see it turning in the last 2 days. Like it's always been like that. If that's how it is, and it's been very hot. Like actually, I've been watching like like Wimbledon, etc. It's been very hot in England. If that
Mm.
continues, like I think Washington can be the best option going in because of the fact that he's a very good batter. I think he's a better batter than Shardul Thakur if we have to keep that, and he can also get you those overs in the last 2 days if you really need it. So yeah, bro, I think it's a matter of, will you go for four bowlers or will you put Nitish Kumar Reddy? I think it's very tricky regardless, both ways.
Yeah, I know it's a very, very tricky situation we find ourselves in, and yeah, bro. I like going into the first test. At least I had faith in, if not our whole team, I had faith in putting up performance, like players putting up performances that can get us over the line. And to be fair, those players delivered. It's just that England had like shared the load so much more as a team that they collectively got over the line.
Bro,
But
but that's my point, Rishi. Like they can do that well because they know how to play with each other. At least a batting unit, look at
yeah,
them. They played so many games together, bro, this year. Like right from playing, last year, right from playing, Sri Lanka, West Indies. This year they played New Zealand. They played together so much. They know how they're going to play. Even in Pakistan, they play together. It's not like a sudden new batting unit. But with India, it's a matter of both. Like, brother, unfortunately, you've had two big retirements, but also look at the coaching stuff. Like, they keep making so many changes in the batting order. Like, I think for the first time right now with KL Rahul and Jaiswal, you can say in the past 6 games they played together, at least 5 games, and you can say that's why they've looked together very well and settled. Like, you look at the opening pair, I think that's the only place in this entire team where they look settled. Like, I don't think anyone else looks settled, and maybe the opening bowlers for India, like Bumrah, Siraj, because they've run it together for so long. Apart from that, everyone else looks a bit out of place, and that's the problem for me at least. Like, bro, for me the concern is more of I look at every game India's played. There are a lot of games where they shouldn't be losing and they lost it. And like remember the New Zealand last test game where they had to score what? They had to chase 150 odd runs, and they did have a huge collapse there. The game against Australia, I think it was what that's fourth test match. Again, we had a huge collapse there. Last game it should have been a dead draw. We had a huge collapse there. So I think it's more about I think it's just more about, like having the right temperament playing test match. And I think that comes from coaching, bro. So yeah. Anyways, who do you think will win this, bro? Like going into the second test match, you have no Bumrah. I think England just released that they're going with the same team. Who do you think can win? Just to be fair, like England are can lose in Edgbaston. Like India haven't lost in Edgbaston, but you look at the record, they can lose in Edgbaston. So who do you think will win?
I mean, the last time they played at Edgbaston, they beat West Indies convincingly. But before that was it England. I mean, Australia's famous win over there. So I know that if we do put up good performances, England are there for the taking. But I just don't have that faith, especially in the lower batting order and the bowling right now. Because yeah, let's be real, like this is as weak as it can get when it comes to test bowling without Bumrah. Like no level of coordination. Like this is the I've not seen this level of lack of coordination, lack of accuracy when it comes to pace bowling in a while. Because, like I said in the previous podcast, we had guys who could relentlessly hit the line and length, if not anything. We didn't need those big booming outswingers or in swingers. As long as guys could hit the areas relentlessly, that's all we needed. And that we're not able to do right now. And it is for that reason that I feel somebody like Akashdeep can come in and do a like good job. But as always, I really want to back my team. AGF saying Jai Sharma, I think he means Jai Shah ko mauka milna chahiye. Bro, can he bowl right arm quick? Can he actually hyper like does his wrist? I mean, does his elbow have hyperextension and can fill in for Bumrah? If yes, I really have no problem in him coming in and filling for Bumrah. But anyway, yeah, as much as I want to back my team, I just feel this is going to be one of those deflating losses because I feel it's going to be runs galore, followed by England just coming in and like stamping their authority on us because we don't have any like potency in our pace attack. But at the same time, I feel if our middle order can contribute a little bit more, then we can somehow stay in the game because day two, I mean day four, day five. If we can take it till day four, day five, I still think somebody like Jadeja will come in handy for us. So it's up to the middle order because I have that level of trust when it comes to the opening one down, two down. But I think middle order have some responsibility to shoulder when it comes to
Yeah.
picking up the performances. So that's the thing. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be one of those games which is not going to be as competitive. We're gonna miss out on this test. What do you think, Da?
Bro, yeah, it's the same thing. For me, see the good thing for me at least, I think it's going to be the same lineup for England. So one thing I know for a fact is with their bowling, they don't really have those game changers where like if you're saying India's missing Bumrah, it's not like they've added another player. Like, okay, if Archer was playing, okay, you could say, okay, it's a bit more dangerous, their bowling lineup.
Mm.
But they don't have that. It's pretty much the same bowling lineup. And looking at the bowling lineup, I don't think it's such a special bowling lineup. I
That's
think,
exactly like that's the annoying part, that their bowling lineup isn't great or anything in particular. It's just that
yeah,
we are not like capable enough to take advantage of that. That's the annoying part.
but dude, that's the thing. So I think it comes down to being smart enough to. Sometimes it's okay to play for a draw. That's my opinion. It's a five-test series. You know, the thing is, there is a bit of pressure for India. Okay, we haven't won here since what, in 18 years, since 2007. Winning here is going to be a special feat. But you should also think, okay, coming here, we've lost already Rohit Sharma, lost Ravichandran Ashwin, lost Bumrah for this test match, we've lost Virat Kohli. It's not like the pressure's on to be like India has to win this test match because you're going against a capable England team, like you saw the first test match. So the
Mm.
thing is, when you're playing such a long series of five test games, sometimes it's okay to take a draw when your backs are against the wall and you have missed your best bowler. I think this is one of those games where you can try to play a draw, even though Edgbaston you never get draws. Like I don't remember the last time you got a draw in Edgbaston. You always get a result there. I think day three, day four, as usual, is where it gets tricky. Sometimes it really gets easy to bat. Sometimes it also favors the spinner. So you have to be able to play those 2 days continuous. I mean, 2 days very smartly. The last 2 days, for me, India should go here with the intent to at least get a draw. Like, I think that was the issue with the first test game also. I think when India were in a bit, they had a good cushion on day four, and they suddenly started giving away wickets without any pressure. I think that's where they lost it. I think they went a bit too aggressive, thinking we can win this with ease. When there was when England are equally capable to come and score the same runs and chase down the total, with Bumrah missing, I think there is a bit of doubtfulness here there. If India can be smart enough and play, bro, that's the thing with Edgbaston. I don't think it's going to be the same as what we got last game. I think it's going to be very tricky for them to bat. That's my thing. Like, at least that's what I think. At least the first day, first 2 days. I think toss will be very important. If India win the toss, it's smarter to maybe ball first because chasing gets easier. So toss is going to be very important for India. Worst case scenario should be a draw. Like, I think they should just be smart enough to play for a draw where you've at least gotten the draw of Edgbaston. Because as you said, India's never won in Edgbaston. I don't think they've ever won, if I'm not wrong. And going into it, like, you rather get a draw of an Edgbaston where you're not, the favorites to win, than be 2-0 down going to the third test. Now you go to the third test 2-0, it's a matter of you lose a third test, the series is done. It's nothing else to play in the series.
Yeah.
I think it's more important for India to grow this test match. Let's put results secondary. I think it's important for India to grow because you're growing not only in terms of batting order, but also in a bowling order because you have no Bumrah. It's a true test to show how can adapt when you don't have Bumrah in your team. You have no Bumrah, you have no Ashwin, you have no Virat, you have no Rohit Sharma. You're going into a test match where your backs are against the wall. Your head coach is under fire. Your captain is fresh. He's also finding his own feet. I think it's better off try at least to get a draw, but obviously every time you have to go for a win. I think me personally, I think you can find a draw if India is bro. If India plays smarter, I think they're fine. It's not like India are in the worst position. You look at the first test also. If the middle order, just Karun Nair was more responsible, Jadeja was more responsible, Shardul Thakur was more responsible. So these three batters, if they gave 50, 60 balls extra and 30 runs each extra or 25 runs each extra, India would have easily had like 150 runs added in both innings more. And they could have defended that 150 runs maybe in the last day with ease, and it would have been a draw. You know what I mean?
Of
It's just
course. Yeah.
these fine margins, bro. Even with Sai Sudarshan, if your number three is just playing a bit more responsibly, I think they're fine. I don't think they're in the worst spot there, right? So, bro, it's
Mm.
just a matter of getting your timing right. Because as we said, I think the openers are pretty fine. I think you know what you're getting out of them. I think it's a matter of number three, number four. They're good, but they have to be a bit more consistent. Punt, I think he's played well the first test match. I think he should be more responsible. Like, it's just a bit more from the batting order you get. I think complementing that with the bowling, at least getting a draw won't be the toughest thing to do. But yeah, but it's still very tough. You know what I mean? I would rather have a draw for India if they can't win. But yeah, it is tough going into the second Test match.
Damn, that's. I feel that's the sad part that we're in only into the second test of a 5 match series, and we're already in a position where we're having to settle for draw. And I don't even
No,
think
but
England will be able to
I
draw.
actually don't think like going into England and wanting a draw is the worst thing. Like, bro, that's the problem because I think England have become very underrated the way they play at home. I don't think people really take note of it because outside England they are a bit sus. Like we know England don't tend to play well outside home, but bro, with the way they've been playing at home, it's very tough to go beat. Like even Austria just drew to them the last two Ashes. They've not been able to beat them. Everyone who goes there loses. Like no one's beaten them till now. I don't know who's the last team to even go win a proper Test match and like Test series there. So the problem is, I think it's okay for this young Indian team to go there, and it's okay to have a draw there. Like that's the thing. Like it's okay when if you put in the contents, it's like imagine Barcelona going to play Real Madrid. They don't have Messi, Suarez, Iniesta, and Neymar. Like I think that's the situation what India is in. Like if you have to be honest, like they don't have their main players. It's fine if they go for a draw. But the problem is you have to still perform. You can't just be like, they're young, let's let them go, because the caliber, they were able to perform the first Test match, and they should work on it and at least, move forward, not backward from that. But yeah, you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying that, like England back in the day when we used to play, like traditionally when our big four was there, and like up until I'd say 2022, up until baseball came in, the conditions that were there in England are, I feel, are very, very like different as to how it is right now, because the wickets just seem a lot flatter, and I don't know how. Like this purely coincidence. I just feel the ball doesn't move as much anymore with both of
It
them,
doesn't.
which like yeah, like and these two were the prime concerns for our batsmen who are going from India. Like we cannot handle balls that are having lateral movement, and when you club that with like a little bit of a bounce, it's nightmare for us. And it's so unfortunate. And the last couple of times that we've gone there, like not the immediate, like under Virat's captaincy, we looked like a team that could tackle these conditions, and we don't even need as much right now, because if we do have a capable team, this England team is there for the taking. Because what, like ultimately, what is England without lateral movement? Like it is pretty much flat, and England are just outbatting teams at this point. If we just had a team that can offer some sort of support, I felt this England team would be much more unfortunate as to what we are going through, or rather unfortunate as to what we are going through compared to England are there for the taking. And that's just what like somewhat gets me sad. But anyway, that's pretty much what we feel about India going into the second test. Of course, you guys should let us know how you guys feel. If you feel confident going into the test, what your predictions are, who you feel should come in instead of Bumrah, and potentially if you should get another or not. So yeah, do let us know in the comments what you guys feel. We'll be back soon. We'll be back on Wednesday with another interesting episode. So till then, thanks Adi for joining. We'll catch you soon. See you guys.